No, but the administration is going to the bottom of the pyramid, giving 10,000, 15,000 naira people to people microcredit, asking Nigerians to apply
10,000. I spend my budget. My budget is It's a pension of the NIMASA. Why I'm the president of the NIMASA Pensioners Association. Is 30,000 naira. But you know, it's the idea how to turn this 30,000 naira to 300,000 naira in a month that makes the difference. If I begin to spend 30,000, I would spend it in a day. The full tank for my little golf car, it's maybe about 8,000 is gone. What about the GSM card, 3,000? So what's 10,000 for me in a day? So I need to have this, what you call the parable of the talent. How do I now get the 32,000? I'm expecting it anytime soon, to begin to turn it to 300,000. And that's the Nigerian thought process that the government ought to have. The little that you have, strategically, how are you going to improve it? How are you going to do this? When you begin to allocate crude oil to some few companies, the way it was done, 100,000 to a particular company to do this, you ain't going to turn this national economy. You begin to look at long gestation projects. Look, I have collateral worth trillions of US dollars. What can I have within this short period of time in terms of investment, in terms of loaded funds, that I could immediately impact on the lives of the people? Pipelines, buses, you know, trucks, you know, employment, labor-intensive programs there. So at the end of the day, people will say, oh, Buhari and Obasanjo, they've done a wonderful job.
If you look at 1999, just by this time next year, we'll be looking at 20 years of civilian democracy. If we look at the Obasanjo's administration, if we go back to that, was it a capitalist arrangement?
No, it was a good arrangement. There was no doubt about it. But you see, the point was that along the way, it's some other kind of pecuniary private interest started coming into the Obasanjo that people knew, started thinking about third term and things like that. And who was he using? He was using Senator Mantu, who later on started apologizing on the channel television. I'm sorry for rigging elections. So these are the things that affected his program. But the programs were okay. Privatization, you know, getting the infrastructure renewal programs and all that. But along the way, Nigerians were confused. Who is this new man called Obasanjo that is talking about third term?
The key issue here is that if we want to go capitalism, we've got to be sure
in life,
if we're going socialism.
No society is pure capitalism. Even Russia today is capitalism, one way, socialism, depending on what level of magnitude of funds that you want government to come into.
So you want the Buhari's administration to bring a lot of money to the table.
Exactly.
Where do you think this money will come?
It depends on him. It depends on how he is now able to convince the society that, look, these killings in Benue and all these other things had to stop. All these Boko Haram issues that he has tried so much with this, but has to stop. Investors are very shy. The money is very valuable. They can invest in Ghana. They could invest in Bahrain. So if Nigeria wants to move forward, let's have the water and the utilities and the roads and all that kind of a thing. So investors will begin to say, hey, these guys have changed. These guys are doing good business. Even you as a businessman, if you go to a place and you see the office setting just like this lovely place, I love channel television. You guys are doing a wonderful job here. Now you come back and say, look, I can advertise here. But if you come here and you don't see people like Boston here, would you waste your time? You wouldn't.
Are you not encouraged by what the administration is doing?
The commitment is there. That's one thing I like about the administration. The will is there, but where is the way? That's the important thing. The way is that experts. You have people like Pt.2 left out in the cold.
Do you have an issue with the management team?
No, not that I have an issue, but the point is that when it comes to politics is one thing. Politics is power. But power to execute what? Is to execute what the Brookings Institute, for instance, has done, or the Chatham House has done. Chatham House is not a charity organization. It's a think tank for the policymakers to say, hey, we've done research in Nigeria, and this is what you're going to do. We don't have this kind of research kind of background. You remember the other time when some student was fired the following day or something like that. A professor came, a strategy from Oxford University, and said, look, what I've found in development in Nigeria is that you don't have think tank. You don't have strategic planners. The budget is supposed to fit into a larger strategic plan for a nation 10, 15 years down the line.
So this administration has the economic recovery and growth plan, which is 2017 to 2020. Are you comfortable with that?
Growth plan, yes, fine. You can come out with whatever statements you want to make on paper. But the reality is that, do you have the funds? Do you have the men? Do you have the materials to deliver on those? That's called implementation.
The administration believes that this ERGP will deliver.
See, I saw what the budget minister was talking about. That look,
the breakdown.
The breakdown. Maybe we are going to get some money from joint venture cash calls. Maybe we are going to get some.
Yes, and perhaps some private.
Yes, from these are not enough to turn around the huge economy. This is the point I'm making. The point I'm making is
that they are good, but not good enough.
No, you want to buy a Jew organ.
Not big enough.
See, you want to buy a Jew organ now, maybe because you want to go to the forest to do some kind of mineral research and all that kind of a thing. Then you have just 2 million naira. Can you buy a Jew organ? Can you? That's what's happening here. we need to attract huge investments, A, in capital, A, in manpower, A, in investments. Now, this this disaster we're having on the roads, no amount of effort on resurfacing the potholes can deal with the problem. You need to come and call the Germans. And for instance, look, in this economy, unfortunately, we're importing petroleum products. Can we have non-vandalization type of pipelines that can go some meters down, and so I can evacuate fuel from Bafon to maybe Ore or to Benin or to some of the ports within 3 months? They will give you the figures. And they say, okay, we will expect to recoup this investment in 10, 15 years. And there's sanctity of contract. It's being done. Today, maybe my house is the roof is leaking, and I call the capital and say, sir, we can't get this during the wedding that you expect to have during December at this time. But you can have an alternative there that will ease the problem. That's the kind of mentality we need to have for the economic agenda of the administration. If we don't do that, at the end of the day, what are they going to present to the Nigerians to say, oh, Buhari is coming back the second time? That's the problem they're going to have.
So the future of the Nigerian economy, in simple terms, how do you think we should make progress in the short term? Because it looks like Nigerians want to have progress in the short term if you're looking at the increasing number of poverty, unemployment.
I think, was it King Williams or something, the year 12, they said, look, give me a collateral of UK, you know, about 12-something years back, including every cow, every sheep that I have. What's the value of UK as a nation, that material? I don't know whether it's England, they call it, or United Kingdom, I don't know. They had to do that costing. Nigeria has to have a costing and know the value of Nigeria in terms of what you have in the Lake Chad, what you have in the Zamfara where the killings are taking place, in terms of the gold, what you have in terms of minerals. This is the value of Nigeria. And that's the collateral. You use that to go and look for banking and investors and all that. Including the oil reserve. But of course, you can't reach those collaterals now what you have crisis in the Benue, where you ought to have these grazing land issues together with the sedentary cattle rearers settled. If you don't have it, that food basket, there ain't going to be peace and quiet, no matter how much you have in terms of agricultural output that you expect to have. You need to have essentially, which is the primary responsibility of government, is the security, peace and quiet. We don't seem to have peace and quiet right now with all the killing. About 89 people yesterday, I learned, were assassinated or something, or wiped out in the village. We can't continue having this. If we have this, no investor is going to come. No, you can have all the mineral resources there you have. The whole of the Northeast, no investor is going to come to Mambila. As long as you can't go and drive peacefully to this lovely place, who's going to invest in power sector in Mambila? That's the crisis we have. So the government has to make serious effort to idle hands. That's what they have come to realize. 89 million people are living less than $1 or $2 a day. You got to have this massive employment short term to have peace and quiet so they can have a development process going on.
Interesting. Let's continue having this conversation some other day.
Thank you.
Gautama Liman, a policy analyst, and that's wrapping up the program for us today. We'll take time during the week to explain the new market structures of the Nigerian Stock Exchange to everyone to understand what the new thinking will be from July the 2nd. You're watching Business Morning. Let's wrap it up for today. We're back tomorrow, June the 26th. Have a great day, everyone.